lot of you guys have been asking me what my settings are. I had no idea this is something that you guys wanted to actually see or know. So I'm going to go over how I have some of my key settings. All right, so first and foremost, I use classic mode. I don't like using action mode just simply because you need to be able to click targets in large scale PvP, and not being able to do that in action, it's a little bit difficult to do that action combat. I do have auto move to interact with target, and you can turn this off. It doesn't matter. Actually, I mean, I have it on and off. I probably just turn it off. Q skills, I use Q skills. This is like essentially when I use an ability like Cruel Smite, and then after using it, let's say I use this, as I'm spamming this, or let's just say the 9 ability, it uses it immediately. It's just skill Q. So if you have high ping, it's mandatory to turn this on, and it's going to feel infinitely better if you have this on. If you have 1 ping, then it doesn't really matter. I actually didn't turn it on when I had 1 ping in KR. Auto move within range to target. So the reason why I actually take both of these is because in large scale PvP, it can become very difficult to quickly recognize what your target is. So I have a key, which I will tell you here in a second, to take target of my party leader. Like, let's say he has party leader. If he takes target and there's a fuck ton of people, it will take me time to recognize where he is. But if I just hit my R ability, which is what I have my bind set to take target of party leader, it will allow me to instantly just take target. If I use an ability, it will just take me to him, right? So I'll go to this little mob right here. I'm not doing anything. I just use my ability here, and it's gonna run to the target. So it just saves me a little bit of time, a few extra seconds when I'm trying to PvP in large scale. And it's very, very helpful because, like I said, again, sometimes it's hard to see which target is where because I don't really like how the nameplates are set up. I do have toggle basic attack here. So essentially what this is if I hit E, if I hit it again, I can stop auto attacking. Sometimes in PvE, especially, this is important because it's just like, hey, don't attack. Or even in PvP, if I'm attacking someone that has like a reflect up, but I want to stay on the target, I don't want to like auto attack into his reflect, right? So that's another thing that I take. Next, we have toggle charge skills. I prefer this with aim skills here because what that essentially allows me to do, like this right here. If you can see this little AoE, I can hold this down to aim it. Right? And then I let go of my button and he uses the ability. So this allows me to aim certain abilities that have that like skill shot, like AoE, like hitbox thing, right? I do not take the lock on target because sometimes I do want to aim that little thing. And if I use lock on target, it's always just going to lock on the target that I'm at. And sometimes, I don't want to do that. Let's say there's like a big clump. Like, let's say there's like a big clump here. I might be able to hit more targets. This is probably not a great example. This little AoE that you can't really see. Some are like bigger and more square-like. Let's say I want the center of it to be here versus here because the target's here. If I use lock on, it's going to lock on to here. So I might miss out on some of that, some of that cleave. So I prefer to leave both of these off and I leave these on. Display lock on controls. I just leave this. I set this to 99% health level amatoid. So this is your passive heal. These are your world tree leaves that you consume. I set it to 99%. Always use, of course, in PvP content. Now, here's the big one, guys. When it comes to character and target, a lot of these are preference, but this right here is kind of what's important. Okay, now the most important segment when it comes to this character section here is this area right here under show character name. This is in relation to what health bars you see. A lot of people are asking, how do I see health bars? How do I remove health bars? This is where it is. Gameplay, character. So what you're going to notice is friendly player characters right here. Okay, we're going to start with this. If I turn this off, okay, I will not see any friendly character health bars. Okay, now watch what happens when I turn it back on. When I turn it on, I turn it on and I show the health only, not name. Okay, and I'm going to turn off the guild mark, relationship mark. You see how I see more HP bars? These green and yellow bars are my teammates. They're my friendly guild. They're my guild mates and my alliance mates. Okay, so for me as a DPS, I don't really want to see that. It's too much clutter. I just turn this off, but I do leave this part on. That way I don't see the health bars. I just see the squares because that allows me to identify how many of my teammates are near me, because if I have no teammates near me, I want to obviously retreat, right? So right here, you can just see the orange health bars. Those are considered hostile guilds. So in your guild, there's a relationship here. And if you click hostile, these are all of our hostile guilds. So what you can do is you can set that the same way. So right here, hostile guild characters. If I turn this off, then those nameplate health bars are gone. If I turn it on, they're back on, as you can see, right? That allows you to kind of prioritize, allow the hostile members that you're prioritizing to stand out a little bit more because they're going to be orange. If you can obviously turn on your names, as you can see, the name shows up, but I feel like that's just too much information when there's a lot of people. So I turn that off. I just see HP bars. I leave that on. And then the last thing is miscellaneous characters. This is everyone else that is not allied or hostile. For us, I leave this on because in our server or our alliance, anyone that's not in our alliance is considered hostile. So I turn this on, and when that turns on, those are the white nameplates that you see here. Okay, now this is very important, and also you could do the same thing for NPCs. Now this is very important because when you go to target, you can prioritize certain targets. So currently I just have it searched by distance because I play melee and this is just more convenient for me. But you can also do it in order of priority, in order of astral vision. Don't worry about astral vision if you're new to the game. It's just order of priority. Okay, so what I can do is I can literally turn off all of these like this and just set it to hostile guild. So this means when I tab target, it will only cycle through hostile guild members only. If I go this, it will only cycle through hostile and feud. However, it will prioritize hostile guild first. Okay, so you can set this so if you're like, oh shit, I keep targeting mobs, this is bad, you can remove that. All right, but again, I prefer distance. Now the second thing to this is auto target when attacking. And you can set the same prio thing here. Now what happens when what happens when you turn this on? Essentially what this does is, let's say I'm trying to kill this guy right here and he's dead. Now I have no more target. If I use an ability, in this case Cruel Smite, with no target, it is going to auto target based off of this setting. Okay, based off of this setting here. This setting here. Okay, does that make sense? So I'm trying to kill this guy, he's dead already, but then I use another ability with no target, it'll go to like this guy over here automatically. Okay, that's how that works. Sometimes it's convenient, sometimes it's inconvenient. That's pretty much it. That's the most important thing. Everything else is just pretty self-explanatory. In camera, I have camera smoothing and camera smoothing on object collision off. I have both of these off. It makes the camera turn a little bit sharper. Shake effects, I have this off. If you have it on, then you're obviously a bad gamer. Content chat UI, all of this is just, it's up to you. I have my my cursor a little bit bigger, and yeah, that's pretty much it. The last thing that I will recommend that you look into is your quality under graphics. Now, when I go in here, okay, you're gonna see a lot of people. This is going to be probably the best advice I can give anyone that it has not tweaked their settings and is struggling with FPS. You're gonna see a bunch of people here, right? If I go into settings, I go to quality again. If I turn my character count to low, I am going to see less people. There's not that many people here now, but usually when there's a fuck ton of people, you'll just see the amount of players on screen just completely shrink, and your FPS is going to be immediately better. And I highly recommend always setting this. I have a god tier computer and I still always set this for peace world bosses. You can set that for PvP, but personally, I prefer to see the entire battlefield, see where their clumps are. So I leave it on epic, but that would be my best advice for you guys to save FPS or to increase FPS during these world bosses. Now, the last thing I'll say is you can look at some of these bottom things here and sacrifice, for example, hair strain. Effect quality is another pretty big one. If you turn this down to low, that will also save a significant amount of FPS, or potentially increase a significant amount of FPS in large scale PvP. Those are my settings. I hope you guys enjoy the video. I'll probably upload this to YouTube since you guys are asking me like crazy. Like and subscribe.